Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's coverage of the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, the fighting continues. We are continuing to see significant setbacks taking place, especially within the vicinity of Dessie, by the Abiy loyalist forces, also known as the Ethiopian Army Federal Forces, the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, and its Amharan militia paramilitary allies. The fighting has been very significant, as we know. There was a fairly significant buildup of federal forces looking to launch an offensive north with possibly the strategic goal of eventually seizing control of Waldea. Unfortunately, the setbacks that have occurred, the Ethiopian federal forces are a long way off from achieving that goal. And some reports would indicate that a possible collapse of the Ethiopian command centered within the vicinity of Dessie could be near. We continue to hear reports of Tigrayan Defense Forces moving closer and closer towards Dessie, closer to Kombolcha. We're receiving reports that Tigrayan forces could be as close as Hike, within the vicinity of Hike, possibly within shelling range of Dessie and Kombolcha, and we believe also forces are moving in by the TDF from the northeast as well, from this direction. So it looks like the general counter-offensive by the Tigrayan Defense Forces appears to be running from Hike to the east towards the Afar border, and looking to possibly threaten Kombolcha from the eastern direction where my cursor is pointing. But I still believe we are a bit off, a bit a ways from Kombolcha, Dessie being seized. I'll try to explain a little bit my rationale behind that. Again, we've seen significant forces of the Abiy loyalists and the Amhara militias located in Dessie and Kombolcha. These are two fairly large-sized towns, cities that have the capability to mobilize populations to fight. Another issue is again the terrain. Again, we have seen defensive positions being set up, and this has been going back as far as months, in terms of the Ethiopian Federal Forces setting up and being able to withstand attacks against these two fairly large and significant cities. And remember, again, the terrain really benefits the defender at this point. But again, it would appear that there is significant chaos occurring inside of the Ethiopian military high command, especially the forces commanding elements of its forces in the vicinity of Dessie and Kombolcha. Again, now with that being said, if we do in fact see the fall of Kombolcha, if we see the fall of Kombolcha, in all likelihood we'll probably see the fall of Dessie as well. And I think the probability of urban combat is very high. I do not believe that the Amhara militias, the Ethiopian forces in Kombolcha and Dessie would hand over the city like what occurred in Waldea farther to the north. Again, these are two very important objectives, and if these cities fall, the war is a lot closer to ending with a victory for the Tigrayan Defense Forces, if in fact these two cities can be taken. But again, it is a significant nut to crack for the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Is it possible that the TDF will take Kombolcha, will take Dessie? Absolutely. It is a definite possibility. Right now, the momentum is on the side of the TDF. It is getting closer and closer to Kombolcha, but at the same time, in all likelihood, I would say that the TDF is going to have to engage in the sort of urban combat that it would prefer not to engage in. And given the size of these two town cities, besieging these would probably be more difficult than a direct assault. Again, you're looking at a lot of manpower to try and completely circumvent Dessie and Kombolcha. And again, you're getting closer and closer to the center of gravity in terms of power, military power for the Ethiopian state, and the Tigrayan Defense Forces are gravitating away from its power base. Now, could they besiege Kombolcha and Dessie? Yes, absolutely, it's possible. Could we see a direct urban assault on Dessie and Kombolcha? That's possible too. But I don't foresee a capitulation of Dessie and Kombolcha. Is it possible? Anything's possible. We could see it happen. I think the TDF would like to see that happen, but unfortunately, will the Ethiopian army, the Amhara paramilitaries, the Abiy loyalists hand over the cities? And I would say no. Again, it would be a capitulation on the grandest scale. If it does happen, I would say the war has just got that much closer to ending, or rapidly the time frame in terms of a possible victory for the TDF has gotten a lot closer. If we do see the either capitulation, again, remote possibility, but possible, or the military entrance of the TDF into Dessie and Kombolcha, and I think that's more likely, or a possible a siege with the use of artillery engaging units of the Amhara militias and the Ethiopian military inside of Kombolcha and Dessie. But that's the what is happening on the ground right now. Again, just really setback after setback for the Ethiopian military. The intel we're getting is some rather significant units of the Ethiopian military, some better trained forces that were initially involved in the early stages of the offensive operation by the Ethiopian military, were engaged and destroyed along roadways north of Dessie. These were kind of the motivational forces, the real hammer behind this Ethiopian forces, and a lot of the Ethiopian offensive, and a lot of the other forces that were involved in this offensive were largely untrained semi-conscripts, about a month of training, if that, poorly led, poorly trained, poorly equipped. Granted, some of them may have been motivated to advance, but some of those units as well have been ripped apart by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. But now we're looking at just really a demoralized, very large force that is located in the vicinity of Dessie. Will they continue to fight for Kombolcha and Dessie? Yes, possibly, probably. Are they willing to renew this offensive north? I would say unlikely, but possible, but unlikely. In other areas, we continue to see the Ethiopian forces attempt to push towards Gashina, and again, mixed information is coming out of Gashina. Right now, we do not believe Ethiopian forces and Amhara militias are in control of Gashina. They may have attempted to enter Gashina at some point, but were engaged in fighting, and our intelligence indicates they have been pushed back outside of Gashina. Could that change? Possibly. Again, they seem to be, meaning the Ethiopian forces, seem to be having a better luck on the west of Gashina front, as opposed to the fighting that is happening down in outside of Dessie and Kambolcha. But we'll have to monitor the situation and continue to keep an eye on it. Right now, it's really a pivotal point in this conflict. Again, if we do see the TDF manage to secure and take control of either Dessie, Kambolcha, or both, it'll be a significant blow to the Abiy loyalists, and decision-making processes would then have to start be questioning whether the outcome of this conflict is in fact in danger, which in all likelihood it would be if the TDF were able to capture one or both of these towns. We continue to see the Tigrayan Defense Forces operating inside of the Afar region. Again, MFAN really believes that the goal of that is to create strategic depth, a strategic buffer zone where the left flank of the Tigrayan Defense Forces cannot be threatened in its advance towards goals further to the south. But again, that is the situation as it sets. We will continue to monitor the situation and report as soon as we can. Have a great day, everybody.